the best AliExpress alternatives for 2019, 2020 and beyond to build a sustainable dropshipping business, the exact strategy you need. Let's go. So dropshipping from AliExpress. Okay, this is where most people are going to start, and this is where I'd recommend you start. Because you have a low budget cap, or you don't need much capital. So you can have $50, $100, okay? You don't need don't need much money. It has flexibility with plenty of products. In fact, their whole entire website, you can choose anything from it, okay? So you have flexibility. Easy to get started. So for beginners, this is the perfect way to get started to learning dropshipping model and get started as soon as possible. And you can use apps like Oblo and DSCRs to fulfill orders, okay? So you can use those free apps that cost nothing and you can get them fulfilled. The cons are that you have longer shipping times. So it can be 2 to 4 weeks, let's say to United States. You can have many bad suppliers. I've had it myself. Suppliers that send out not high quality products. They break, they're fragile. They use the cheapest shipping option like China Post, which has a longer shipping time and no tracking. They may not ship them out at all and just try and flat scam you. They may not handle returns. Those are some of the things, and they can lead to chargebacks from customers. Okay, so let's have a closer look into AliExpress and sort of how you can sort of look at this data to get a bit better of an understanding. So I'm just on AliExpress here, and as we can see, this is a supplier we can use. Now, one of the things I would recommend that you do, especially if you're getting a number of orders, is contact that supplier. A lot of them that are very serious, that know dropshipping, will add you on Skype or WhatsApp. Many prefer Skype. And you can add them on there and communicate with them there. Always check the shipping has at least e-packet to your designated country. Okay, so if we have a look for United States, we want to make sure that we at least see e-packet. Okay, so in this case, it's free. Okay, and for items that are higher price on AliExpress, you get free shipping. As a general rule, a lot of the times you may be eligible for free shipping if your product is worth more than $5. I hate when it does that. If it's worth more than $5. So make sure that you use ePacket primarily because the main thing you want with ePacket is it's the fastest shipping, it's the cheapest, and usually it comes with tracking, okay? So you want tracking, right? It's really, really important that you get that. You can see here it's the cheapest and it gets the fastest delivery time frame. Add the person on Skype or WhatsApp and communicate with them. You can be really surprised. A lot of these suppliers can actually be very high quality. Let's move on to the next step. That's an alternative now to AliExpress. All right, so dropshipping from a private supplier or Udroppy. So a lot of my students use my private supplier. He's a fantastic private supplier. And then there's Udroppy, which is a service that integrates with Shopify that they can go out and source it for you. I've got a video on this that people really love. Udroppy is a good service. So the pros of both of these is you get better quality products, you get a quality supplier, you get faster processing. So with a quality supplier, you get someone that you can communicate with consistently, either that person or a team, so it's not just reliant on one person. A lot of the people on AliExpress are just one people teams, so we're actually going to an actual proper team of people. So you get faster processing. On AliExpress, you might get, it can be 2 to 5 days, whereas this can be 1 to 3 days processing, and sometimes even same day if you're holding inventory. As a result, you get faster shipping. With, for instance, my private supplier, he has a sheet that he can supply you that has, it's just a Google sheet that has all of the shipping times and the fees involved sending to those countries. They charge based on weight. If you are interested in that, actually, hit a like, give me a like and comment down below, and I'll put a link down below as well, so you can all have a look. They ship worldwide as well. So you're going to get faster processing, faster shipping, and with larger orders as well, you can get a discount in shipping and you can get a discount in the price of the product. Depending on the order, you can get anywhere from 10 up to 30% off is where I've generally found from experience. You can white label. So with the private supplier especially, you can put in like a custom card. You can put in a thank you letter. You can make a branded box. They can do all of that for you to help white label your product. And you can even customize it because they'll have connections, and you just need to go back and forth to customize the product accordingly, which subsequently allows you to build a brand. Building a brand is having a high quality product with good shipping, good customer service, of a product that they really like with a high quality product. Okay, that is in essence building a brand right there. The downside, however, is you do need more capital. You know, we're not talking you might need $50, $100. You're going to have to buy a number of these items generally up front. If you buy them the same day, your processing can be slower. Okay, but if you buy in bulk and they have them stored, your processing can be same day. So I would definitely be recommending that. I put here manual fulfillment, not mine. So for instance, my private supplier, actually on my stores, I give him access to it, and he actually just sees the order. He will go and fulfill it himself, add the tracking number, and ship the item. Okay, so it's like using Overload, it's like using DSERs. However, you're using an actual person that you can speak to and rely on consistently. And because they've got a large team of 65 people, you're able to utilize that capacity of a large scale team. And so then you have manual. The downside though is manual management. Basically, that just relates to, you know, you can't just rely on the suppliers having stock from Aliexpress. You have to maybe go buy 50, 100 units and get them shipped to their warehouse. As I said, with my private supplier, for instance, they generally do that for you. Where they have a warehouse, they've just moved into a warehouse, they'll stock it on a shelf there for you, and then just get it off the shelf, send it to the customer. It's as simple as that. It just means you need to regularly communicate with the supplier to say, all right, well, how much do we have in stock? You know, if you buy 50 in stock, okay, how many do we have left? And when you buy multiple orders, that's where it can get a bit confusing. I would recommend that you make like a Google sheet of how many you purchased, and then just record every day how many orders you're going through, and then every purchase, so that you can tally up how many you've gone through, how many you've purchased. You always want to keep on top of that. Otherwise, that's where you can have processing time delays. Okay, so I'm going to show you the couple of websites now so that you know where to go. So this is howecommerce.com. Okay, so howecommerce.com. I'll put a link also in the description for you to click, but it's just howecommerce.com. You can see they've got over 100,000 suppliers. They do 6 services, 65 staff, and over 1 million products. Very simple process. Okay, so customer provide the product URL. Okay, so like an Aliexpress URL. They find the product in 1688, which is another website like Aliexpress. It's actually like the Chinese version. Okay, on our cooperative factory and negotiate. They provide the price sheet and make the price transparency. They send an invoice via PayPal. I do recommend, especially if you're buying multiple different variants, get them to make the PayPal invoice to have line items so that you know exactly what you're paying for each specific item. They record information for all orders, and they arrange shipping and provide the tracking number. And as I said, if you give them access to your store, they'll do that all. You basically just pay them like you would an Aliexpress supplier, but you're using a reliable service of a large, successful team. So it's got faster shipping. Okay, so they use services, ePacket, China Post. They use a lot of EMS, DHL, FedEx, and 4PL. They don't use, you know, really China Post that much. I've found they use a lot of 4PX and Aliexpress, which is pretty quick. To America, you're looking at probably about 5 to 8 days, and that's days, not business days. Again, you can brand your product and you can stock up on products. Okay, so they have a warehouse with our free inventory storage service, and you can buy inventory at a better price, and all products will be held in our warehouse. As I said, they just moved into a new larger warehouse, so it doesn't cost you anything whatsoever. All right, so they've been around for about 5 years, so they're not a massively heard of one in this space, but they're definitely a very reliable one. You can see a number of the different products that they store and a number of their different partners, which is really good. Having these partners, these are Chinese manufacturers, okay? And these manufacturers make different products. in my niche, for instance, the baby niche, I've got 3 main suppliers that make high quality items. Like, these are high quality, and I can just go to say, all right, I want this one from this supplier. So I pretty much have them as the fulfillment agent, and I have my supplier that these are high quality suppliers that do it for massive companies, you know, like we're talking Target, we're talking Walmart, big well-known companies that I can use, and these people can help you with it. You can see they've got the email down here, so if you want to communicate with them. I also got their WhatsApp. The one I use, I'll put a link in the description, is Bernard at howecommerce.com. He's a very, very friendly guy. He's the one I mainly communicate with, and they're more than willing to help you with that. So Udroppy is very similar to How E-commerce, and also something that I find to be a fantastic service as well. So they take care of the sourcing, fulfillment, and shipping so that you can focus on. The added benefit with this is it integrates with your Shopify store, so it's actually got an app, and you can actually ask them through the app to go and source an item for you, and they'll go and source that and put it in the dashboard where you can then order them accordingly. Okay, you can see they've been featured on a number of things. They have a lot of different services they can offer, even print on demand and white labeling. Now, I'll be honest, between the two, I mainly use my private supplier. I've just found, in my experience, it to be better. So if you're interested between the two, try them both, you know, but I've personally stuck with my private agent on just being honest with this. But this is definitely a great service where it has the app, and they do have additional resources where you can get all of it, and it costs nothing up front. So you can get signed up and get going ASAP. I just wanted to throw that in there so that you had all options. Let's move on to the next step. So this one is the ultimate goal, really, drop shipping from a warehouse. The pros is you get the fastest processing, you get the fastest shipping, you're definitely building a brand, they handle returns, you get higher profit margins, and you get returning customers. At the end of the day, you know, in America, you can go from 5 to 8 days through an agent to 1 to 3 days, and you know, you're on par then with mainly Amazon in the United States, especially with like things like Amazon Prime, where they have, you know, it can even be same day delivery. So 1 to 3 days, it's generally 2 to 4, truthfully, is what I say, but 1 to 3 days is actually the average, and it's perfect. They get a FedEx, USPS, or DHL link. Usually a lot of it's USPS. So it's a very well-known service. They're very comfortable with it. It's authentic. As a result, you're building a brand because you're building trust. They handle returns. Being in that country, they handle returns, and I'll be showing you the website I recommend for United States in a moment, which I use ShipBob. And you're going to get returning customers because at this point, ideally, you're going to have gone through the other steps. You'll have a high converting product that is a good quality product, and you're just trying to improve your customer service experience. The downside with this is you do need the largest capital investment because you're shipping it to United States. As a result, you don't want to send like 50 units, because if you're scaling, then you're going to go through those 50 units. It can take up to 1 to 2 weeks for items to arrive from China, Shanghai, through to United States. And where it is in United States, where I ship them to, is Dallas. ShipBob have multiple warehouses, and I send them to Dallas because it's more in the center of the United States. So you need a larger capital investment, hence why this is further down the line. So you're looking at, you wouldn't want to buy, I don't go off by price, you go off by the amount of units, because everyone's price is different, okay? So you would want to determine what your at least 1 to 2 weeks, because at this point you'll be of drop shipping likely 2 to 3 weeks, I would anticipate at least. Get that data and how much in sales volume you've done in that time frame, divided by the amount of days, determines your average amount of orders on a daily basis, and then times it by 30 to get your monthly amount. I don't do a monthly amount, I at least do 2 weeks worth of inventory. And then I recommend that you would add at least 20% inventory on top of that. The reason I say that is you're going to get returns, you're going to get faulty products in that anyway. You want to have those so that when there's a return, the new one can be sent out and you can still focus on scaling. All right, really important you do that. A lot of people forget that, and then they have to shut down their ads. Just buy a little bit more inventory if you have the capital. If not, don't. But it's just a recommendation from experience. You do have the highest shipping cost. Obviously, it's in America. It's a higher shipping cost. I have been hit myself with higher shipping costs where they sometimes they charge based on weight or dimensions. And preferably you want it on weight, because if it's dimensions, the weight could be tiny, but the box, if it's large, then they'll charge you that amount flat. So you want to try and always negotiate based on weight, and ShipBob do primarily based on weight. So if you can fit it on a smaller box, they'll just weigh it, and that's their method of determining how much per kilo or pound, sorry, in American terms, how much in pound you will pay, how much per pound you'll pay, pardon me. So you do have higher fulfillment fees. The other services, a lot of them are free. They don't charge you. With this though, you pay a fulfillment fee. They're an American company. They're a very established, well-known American company. They do charge a fulfillment fee. They're very reliable, hence why there's a fee. Okay, so that is something you have to factor in. And then you have the overhead management. So instead of it going from a warehouse in China to usually their warehouse in Shanghai, which can be a couple of days, we're talking a couple of weeks. So you really have to plan ahead. So it's at this point that you really need to be thinking about your business, but you will be building a brand, and it's definitely worth the extra steps in the process. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you a bit about ShipBob now. Okay, here we are on ShipBob, and it's just www.shipbob.com. I'm not getting anything for this. It's just a fantastic service. Many of us know it. So you can offer 2-day shipping with a modern e-commerce fulfillment center. You can see that, it has an app that connects to your store, so it'll pull the order in automatically into ShipBob. You've at this point obviously gone through the fulfillment process. You have to do what's known as a WIO. A warehouse inventory order, I think it is, stands for. And so you fill that out. Go through the steps. Basically what that says is where you're shipping the items from, where you're planning to ship them to, because they have multiple warehouses, all the variants, if you do have variants, and send that to them. Then they determine, based on your requirements, you can send them into a bucket, shelves, or a pallet. And for most of us, you would only ever need a bucket or shelves. If you're doing jewelry, small, very small items, bucket, perfect. Larger items, you're probably looking at shelves, but none of us really at this point would need a pallet unless you're really growing big. Okay, but that's just my recommendation. Okay, so you can connect it with Shopify. They store your inventory. Your customer places the order. We ship the order fast. So literally within 1 to 2 days, DHL, USPS, UPS, and FedEx. All right, it's an easy to use interface, very easy. You can see every order there is. You can see received, at depot, and in transit. All right, it is considered one of the better ones out there. There's a number of them out there, and it's just a very easy to use app. I really haven't had much problem with them. If you do have any problems, I recommend contacting their customer service. One of the things I really loved is their customer service team jumped on a Zoom call with me and guided me through it. And the first time that was really helpful because I was quite confused. I had a product that had multiple variants, and doing their order for that was confusing for me. And as a result, speaking to the person clarified a lot of that and made the process a lot easier. So what's also really cool is if you really wanted to amplify it further and you're growing your brand, because I have multiple warehouses across the United States, you can actually then designate to what warehouse you want it to go to. So if you find in the lower part of the United States, maybe that where you're getting larger bulk orders, you might be able to cut a day off shipping by sending it maybe to their Texas related warehouse. Okay, so it's got a lot of flexibility there, but as a result, you do have to have a bit more experience, and it does require that little bit more overhead. So I would definitely recommend this as the final step. All right, but as a result, at this point, my strategy that I just wanted to outline is that you do dropship from Aliexpress. What I do is I dropship from Aliexpress, I test the product. I test it, go out there, test, and I'll at least get probably 20 orders, preferably, before I then go to my private supplier. I might have already started communicating with him, but I won't be like, go and order me products, all right? I'll start telling him so he can start looking as to where they are. Once I've gotten to about 20 orders, I validate that as a winning product, in my opinion, because you've gotten consistent sales of the same product. At that then point, what you do is you move on to your private supplier and you start looking at bulk orders. You don't have to do big ones. Again, that's why I say a slow scale, because you'll learn the process. It's up to you. And you'll want to buy a bulk order, whatever you're comfortable with spending, because remember, you've got your business expenses including your ads, so do not forget that. And you then buy a bulk order. Hypothetically, let's say you bought 50 and they're $4 each, so you spend $200. They'll then hold them at their warehouse and you can start shipping it to whatever respective country around the world. You'll have faster processing, you'll have faster shipping, you'll be able to brand your product, and you'll be able to start elevating your business into a business unlike many others. At that point, then you're scaling up bigger. You can use services like ShipBob. Now, ShipBob is a specialty service in the United States. They do international. However, there are other services that have warehouses in other respective countries. If you're doing shipping to a lot of European countries, I would recommend going back to your private supplier, and shipping from China to European countries is actually pretty quick rather than ShipBob, right? Especially if you're doing America and Canada, okay, use ShipBob. But if you're doing a lot of European customers, which I know a lot of people are, then use your private supplier. So you can see how it's a bit of come and go, a bit of tag, and just requires a little bit more overhead, just a little bit more communication. Either way, you'll be going to your private supplier to buy the items. He might just hold some there in China and then send some to ShipBob. So it just means a little bit more overhead, but it means that in both regards, you're covering both your European customers and oceanic. So it's actually pretty quick to Australia as well. I believe it's about 5 to 8 days in Australia. Yeah, it is. And they use like Australia Postnet. So you're covering European and the oceanic region, and then you're using ShipBob for the North American region. And so as a result, then you're allowing yourself to basically still dropship while really elevating that customer message. And you can then increase the price of your product and build a brand. That's generally what I do, and that's what I recommend to most people. It does take a little bit longer, but it's a very much worthwhile process that allows you to build a more sustainable business. And obviously, I'm going to be honest that this very much relies also, on you building a product or a customer base around a certain type of niche. Even if that's a one product store, it doesn't matter. If it's a niche store, niche general store, it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's my recommendation for how to move away from Aliexpress and how to handle all these different circumstances in the e-commerce space. And that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy today's video, don't forget to drop a like, comment down below, crush it to go on the chance to win a 30-minute call with myself in the next video, and subscribe, okay? Now, on top of that, if we get to 150 likes, I'll be dropping a YouTube ads course, a free YouTube ads course, very comprehensive. As we know, I love my detail, so I really want to provide that. Let's smash that like button and get that underway. Now, congratulations to John Roberts for winning the 30-minute call with myself. Just hit me up via email and we'll be communicating there and jump on a call. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget as well, there is my free live webinar actually coming out. It should be, the date of release should be today. I'm doing one more frequently, and I'm sure you're all going to really love that. It's a lot of fun. And then there's just all my other links. Again, I need to update some parts, but I haven't. Other links to help you for product research, for other free courses. Go and check that out. And again, you've got your links there for other skilled individuals to help you in this space. Really just trying to give out as much consistent value to help in your respective dropshipping business. So once again, thank you so much for watching today. I hope you have a lovely day. Take care and goodbye.